All right, guys, so all-inclusive venues, that's what we're talking about today with professional wedding planner Megan Parker with Megan May Events. She's celebrating now 5 years.
Yeah.
And we're filming today on her 30th birthday, so y'all comment happy birthday. Of course, it's going to be late by the time you see these comments, Megan.
Thank you so much for having me, Carson. I'm so excited. We are actually currently filming at a venue here in Birmingham where we're going to do a joint party for our 5-year business celebration and our birthday. So we're going to have a lot of vendors and longtime family and friends join us. So thank you for being flexible to set up here today.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. I think this conversation is needed for a lot of people. And just so you guys know who are listening right now, that we want this to be a conversation like as if you're in the room right with us, and we're just best friends talking about pros and cons, about all-inclusive venues. And I want to know your perspective because you're a professional wedding planner and designer, and I DJ and do video. So I worry about that side. I don't really plan things. And sometimes the planning, of course, affects me and what I do.
Sure.
But you guys, the planners, have such great insight into venues, but not only venues as a whole, but specifically today, all-inclusive venues. And I think a lot of us know kind of the idea of all-inclusive. I know me and my wife, we went to an all-inclusive resort for our honeymoon, right? Through Sandals. Shout out Sandals. But people understand that all-inclusive might mean everything's included. But is that true? Is that not true with wedding venues? I don't know. We shall find out today. So, but today we're going to talk about what all-inclusive actually means. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons.
Okay.
If you got married at a all-inclusive wedding venue, let us know in the comments. Was it worth it? Was it not worth it? If you're a venue owner that owns an all-inclusive venue, shout out your own venue. Say, hey, come take a tour. Come talk to us about this. But Megan, you have a unique perspective because you first got your start working at an all-inclusive venue. Is that right?
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I think, let's preface this by saying that I think all-inclusive can mean a lot of different things. Some venues are going to market their services as all-inclusive, but you still have to bring in catering, but you still have to hire your own DJ. The venue I worked at was great at being a true all-inclusive where DJ, floral, catering, cake, decor, they had a coordinator, planner, which would have been me. I think they were the true definition of an all-inclusive venue. And it gave me a great launching pad to go out and start my own business after that because I got to deal with the back side of things in a controlled environment and see a lot of different weddings from different kind of perspectives and then different design elements as well. So
that's amazing. And so you did, was it over 100 weddings at this all-inclusive venue for what, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, it was about 3.5 years that I was there. So we saw a lot of different things.
Yes, I'm sure. And you have plenty of stories. We can't get them all into them today.
No.
But that's incredible. And we're going to be talking about those. And then you moved on independently to your planning, and you've been doing that now for over 5 years.
Yeah.
Incredible. So getting close to a whole decade of you planning and designing weddings.
Yeah.
So
well, actually, I've been in the wedding industry longer than that.
Okay.
My first job, I was at a formal wear shop.
Okay.
So I started at 15, and then when I was about 17, we branched out and went into the bridal sector.
Okay.
So since I had been there for a while and I was one of their leading consultants, I got moved up to be able to work with the brides, which is really where I fell in love with weddings at 17.
Oh wow. Okay. So you've been around this for a long time.
Yes, I've done floral, managed catering, sold engagement rings, wedding dresses. I've done a little bit of everything, which feel like makes me a more well-rounded vendor in general because I not only work with the florist, but I've done that. I not only work with the catering manager, but I've done that and seen the back side of it. So I feel like I can relate and advocate for vendors as well as my couples.
That's great. That is awesome. So let's talk about all-inclusive. What are the pros to all-inclusive venues? What have you seen couples be like, this was the best thing, and what was it? What were they saying?
That's a great question. I did make some notes.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at my notes, that's why, because I feel like this is such an important topic because there can be a lot of misunderstandings about all-inclusive venues.
Sure.
Obviously, the pro is a one-stop shop, but you really need to vet and make sure what services you're getting within that. One all-inclusive venue may not be the same as the next all-inclusive venue. I feel like it's going to depend on the type of bride. whether an all-inclusive venue is a good fit for you.
Okay.
It can be a wonderful fit for some people, and it may not be a great fit for other people.
Okay.
So personality is going to have a lot to do with that, just as the bride coming in, if she even wants to entertain an idea of an all-inclusive to begin with. I normally say that a type B bride is going to be great at an all-inclusive because it offers a one-stop shop. Hey, I want you to handle all of this. Like, this is my vision. Help it come to life. And then, your options of photography are kind of laid out for you. You can choose the style that you like within their vendor list.
True.
And you kind of get to go through every element of your day so that you're not having to vendor source. Because that can be very overwhelming to go on Facebook and look for recommendations of how do you track down a vendor? How do you know that their quality of work is what they say it is? How do you know what the price point is going to be? So with an all-inclusive, I think it's probably easier to budget as well because their pricing is more transparent.
That is good.
This is what you've got included. It's 4 hours of a DJ service. It's 6 bridesmaid bouquets, and it's all kind of laid out in one package. So you're not going over your budget, or it's easier to not go over your budget because all of your vendors are already included. And then it's really just the personal things that you've got to bring in as far as, guest book or engagement photos or, something small of that nature to kind of tie it in. But it really, really helps with your budget as well.
That's incredible. And I think that's a good point because many people don't want to go through all that time and effort. They'd rather pay that money to the all-inclusive to be in full control of the outcome. But like you said, not all-inclusive venues are the same, but a lot of them include everything. At least for the venue that you used to work at, did they do absolutely everything or did they do 70%, 80%? What was your...
It was pretty much everything. It's not like we did everything in-house, but we had very close vendors that we worked with.
Okay.
So you had a list of a few photographers that you could choose from. There was 2 florists that you could pick from. So you still had the availability to choose who you wanted, but we had a specific vendor list that you had to choose from. And that made it easy because they knew the property, they knew the venue managers, they knew the staff, and it's seeing the same people week in and week out, which is helping create a good vibe within your vendor team because you know how everyone works and it flows seamlessly together.
Oh, that's good. Actually, that's a great point because those vendors know each other so well.
Yeah.
And that does make a big outcome on your day. When the DJ, videographer, photographer, whoever, caterer, all know and love each other and they know how each other work. That's a great thing. You want to talk about that a little more?
I think that's a great point for just general wedding planning.
Yeah.
So that's why planners have a vendor list.
Right.
Because I know you're on my vendor list. I'm like, look, I can speak to his services. I can speak to his price point. I can speak to the type product that you're going to get when CB Productions pulls up on property. I know that. And it's a rapport that we have. It's a relationship. I know that if I send you a text, you're probably going to get back to me within 45 minutes.
Hopefully.
And I know that. But when we have, all of our people on property, all of our vendor team, and you're pulling from the planner's preferred vendor list, all of those people already work together well.
Right,
and so we know what each person is responsible for. We know the flow of the day.
Yes.
And I think it makes it easier for us to jump in and help each other if we're behind or struggling in a particular area.
Totally.
I mean, I've had DJs that I work with before, and maybe we're having to flip a venue and he's like moving chairs and decorating tables for me.
Yeah.
But we're used to working together and it makes the flow of your day much less stressful because your vendor team knows each other and it just flows.
That's a great pro. What other pros do we get? So we have all-inclusive where you don't have to think about much, a type B, type bride potentially, and then a pro that your vendors all knowing each other for so many years. But that kind of goes for all weddings if you have a good team. What other things potentially are pros for all-inclusive? Is there anything else?
I think being able to budget, that was a big one.
That was that's a big
thing.
To
know what amount of money you're spending and what else you really have to allocate outside of that. That could just be those extras that you bring in, photo booth, dance floor, that might not be in their package, but you know how much you're really going to be spending.
That's good.
That's a big one.
That is very huge. And we do have a budget video. It's actually...
Yes, I've seen it.
It's like a full hour and 48 minutes long. So if you got
Great
the time...
content. Great content.
And there's a free template there on Google Sheets that you can use and put in. And there's actually a lot of budget apps out there that you can just plug in your number and it'll tell you what you should spend. But that's good. But all-inclusive, they take care of it all for you. Like, again, our honeymoon, like we went to Sandals and it was, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 and it included
Everything.
like overnight stay, the food, just access to everything on the property. The only thing extras were the excursions or the things outside of the resort, right? So I guess are there any? Okay, well, I guess those are all the pros, and those are actually those are huge pros. I mean, budget friendly. If you don't want to think a lot and let them plan it, let's talk about the cons. Equally, there's always two sides to the coin, and I'm sure you have some stories of things that might not have gone all beautifully on a wedding day, and there are always stories and horror stories. But there's 9 times out of 10 it's a wonderful, beautiful day. Every now and then there are some hiccups, and share with us, Megan, what kind of cons do you see in all-inclusive?
Another great question. I think the biggest one is that if you are flexible, an all-inclusive is going to be fabulous for you. However, if you're really opinionated, you are going to struggle in that environment because in a lot of ways you are kind of, for lack of a better word, pigeonholed into their system, into their process.
Yes.
And if you want to step outside of that process, there may be some resistance. These are the only photographers we offer, but I really like this person. I'm sorry, they're not on our approved list. So that may cause a bride to feel like she's settling and not be able to get the venue. And that's a big thing to compromise on.
Yes.
I think I could make the point that it's a big thing to compromise on any of those vendors if you have your heart set on a certain DJ or a certain florist, certain caterer or a cake person because you've known them forever and you love their stuff. That's your favorite. That can be heartbreaking for people to have to step outside of that if they've fallen in love with the property. So that might be a question if you're entertaining the idea of an all-inclusive venue that you want to ask before you even go and tour.
And let's talk about opinions because it's not a bad thing to have an opinion. Like we think, oh, we should push aside our opinion, but this is your wedding day.
Your opinion is the only one that matters.
Your opinion is the only one that matters, and I think that's a huge thing as a planner. You try to say that because you do have family members that are helping pay for the wedding, and people. You do have parents that do have their opinions, and you got to respect that for tradition's sake and for other, out of respect for them. But it's your day, so hey, if you have an opinion on this particular vendor, that's a huge thing. And Megan, do you ever see see a bride now that you're out on your own and planning and doing weddings in all different types of venues? Do you ever see a bride that just simply doesn't really have an opinion? How often does that happen?
I think maybe more so brides are overwhelmed.
Okay.
And they can't make up their mind, so they haven't formed an opinion.
That's good.
So then that's my job to present you options.
That's good.
Okay, let's go down these two paths. This is what it looks like on this side, and this is what it looks like this way.
Yes.
Okay, what are your feelings about this? Yeah. And normally your planner, your coordinator is there to kind of guide you and direct you onto that, so then you can make up your mind. Just having some additional information you give people to help them have their opinion. That's a good one. That's
amazing. Do you recommend people book an all-inclusive venue or more independent venue that's non-inclusive? Is there a better thing or?
I think it depends on the person.
Okay.
I think it really depends on the person because it can be very, very limiting for people. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think that all-inclusive means stress-free.
Yeah.
Because if you have your heart set on these things and you want your opinion and you're a very type A bride, then an all-inclusive is probably not the best bet for you. That environment, that's going to create stress for you instead of taking the stress away.
Yes.
So those are factors to consider before you start entertaining that idea of an all-inclusive.
That's important. So what are some other cons here?
Let's see. Limited customization.
Right.
We've kind of talked about that as far as a vendor standpoint, but we also offer decor services. You could bring in your own stuff, but why would you choose to do that and spend the money when you have a variety of everything that's here? Right. You're kind of to customize your tables based on what they offer.
Right.
So limited customization is probably a big one. A bride that really enjoys her planning, like she looks forward to the spreadsheets and sitting down with her mom on the couch and the planning binder that we give our brides, she may not get that experience.
Yeah.
And that can be a hard one to compromise on too, because a lot of those things may be sacrificed at an all-inclusive. This is a big one.
Oh, man.
You don't always know the quality of vendor that you are getting.
Say that again. Say for every bride who's potentially booking an all-inclusive, this is what you need to know right here.
So for every bride that is potentially booking an all-inclusive, you don't always know the quality of vendor that you're going to get. If they have an in-house florist, how long has that florist been in the business?
Right.
Do you like their work? Are they going to work from your inspiration photo or do their own thing?
Yeah.
Are you limited to the book of options that they have and this is all they can do?
Right.
Or are they taking your inspo photos and making that come to life?
Yes.
You don't know what quality you're getting.
True.
And a lot of times you don't know that, or you don't even kind of meet and interact with those people, kitchen staff, baker, whoever it is, until you've already booked.
Right.
So that's something to think about too.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. Wow. Okay. Any other cons that you'd like to share?
Let's see. Less flexibility on your timeline, and you're locked into their system. So generally with an all-inclusive, they have a process. They do this all the time. It works for them and their property. So if you want to step outside of like their process and their plan, you may encounter some pushback from that because it's not the norm at that venue.
Right.
One kind of tagline that we have at Megan May Events is your planner, or me, I'm there to protect your dreams and your visions and to advocate for you on the big day.
That's good. That's good.
So if you're stepping outside of their process at an all-inclusive, they're not really there to protect your dreams and your visions.
Right.
Because you don't have somebody that's working for you. You have someone that's working for the venue.
That's good. And you know what? We should make a video about the differences between venue manager, coordinator, and a full planner and designer. We're gonna do that.
Okay.
But what I'm hearing you say, which I'm learning a lot of things here too, just along with all of us here on this video. Megan, you're giving us some good information. What I hear the most, and just the big thing in my mind, the word is control. That is the big word. It's like when you book an all-inclusive, you are giving them so much control. You're literally showing them. I mean, I guess you still buy your own dress, but as far as your vendors, and the design of everything, and the flow, the timeline, everything is all depending on the venue owner or the owners doing their thing. So you just have to be, I guess you have to trust that they're in full control. They know what's best. And if not, well, too bad.
You want to have a good rapport with all of your vendors, but especially if you're going down the all-inclusive route, because like you said, you do have to trust them with every element of your wedding.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling any kind of resistance, any kind of pushback, you're getting vague answers from them, you feel like this is a little off, trust your gut in that instinct, because that's what's speaking to you. And if you're getting that feeling on the front end of, I don't like their tone here, or their communication isn't great up front, then it's only going to get worse as you go through the process. And then you've locked yourself in to all of their stuff. Your whole wedding is in their hands.
That is so true. And a lot of all-inclusive venues are all-inclusive because they want to have that control.
Fair.
So I'm not a venue owner. You're not a venue owner. This video is not sponsored by any particular venue or all-inclusive or not. So we can speak freely here. No one's tying us down. I think that it's safe to say, if you have a venue and you want more control, if you don't want it, if you don't want to have alcohol at all, you can have a venue that doesn't allow that, and it'd be totally fine. A lot of churches don't allow that because they're a religious institution that makes sense. But all-inclusives can say, you know what, we like these 2 or 3 DJs. And a lot of things that uncomfortable truth that people don't want to admit is some venue owners enjoy the vendors that help them get out the fastest. And what I don't like as a DJ is being at a venue or being with the planner that by the time we get to 8 or 9 o'clock, they're saying, hey, maybe we can get out of here soon. I'm thinking, actually, no, like it's time to party. So I'm just like say there are some DJs and planners and venue owners that by the time, you've done dinner, a few speeches and a few songs, they're secretly all gathering together saying, how soon can we get out of here? Because, hey, let's hit it. Listen, I've had days where I'm like, it's not flowing and they're not really there to dance. And if you're not there to dance, I'm also the same way, like, hey, let's pack up and go because I don't think y'all are dancing. But if they're getting it, I don't want to shut that down, you know, but there are rules for a reason. You know, hey, music off by 9 or by 10, or that's early in my perspective, but a lot of venues by 10, right? That's you know, if you have neighbors, 10 or 11, whatever. We do events sometimes 11 till midnight, but this is just a big thing with all-inclusive. Sometimes they have their beliefs around certain vendors, whether that could be caterer, florals, whatever. They might not like how they did something, and some of it might simply be because they play music too loud, or too long, or they have a subwoofer, or the list goes on and on. So you just need to know, brides, that people have. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, both the owners, the vendors, and you. So if you don't want to do business with someone that has a bunch of rules and regulations on their vendors, maybe look somewhere else. But if you don't, again, it depends on what you prioritize and what you want. But I want to say that caveat. I don't know if you have anything to add there.
Yeah, I think that those are all great points. Yeah, you hit it.
Okay. Is there any story you'd like to share about all-inclusive venues, or anything you'd like to warn anyone about, or share, encourage people with?
I would say don't write it off.
Okay.
Just explore your options and see what's a good fit for you and your wedding.
That's good. Well, I don't think there's anything left to say on this, but I think it's important. We did need to hit on it, so I'm going to try to see if there's any other things. Doing great. Bless you. Oh no. Take your time.
So sorry.
Oh no.
Now you're gonna have to cut off the
Oh no. Do you need CPR? Doctor.
We're gonna be fine.
You're
I
getting
was
emotional.
trying not to swallow.
Oh no.
Super loud.
You need pizza.
I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get this off the mic.
That's so
That's
funny.
okay, we'll make a play for real. It's fine.
That is so funny.
I'm alive now. It's fine.
Okay, my goodness. Oh, bless you. I know.
So sorry. What a way to end that segment.
No, I know that feeling.
Okay.
Gosh. All right, y'all. So to wrap up this segment with Megan from Megan May Events, Megan Parker, happy 30th birthday to you, Megan. And I don't know if you're okay with me sharing your age, but happy 30.
Yeah.
Happy 3-0. I hope this video has been beneficial. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment here on YouTube. Follow Megan May Events on Instagram. Are you on TikTok? Facebook? Facebook's a big one.
Yep.
Follow her there. Follow them there. Great team. And if you have other video ideas that you'd like to see, let us know. But we definitely want to talk about the difference between coordinator, on-site day of coordinator versus manager versus planner and designer. There's some differentiation there.
Yes, there is.
With different price tags. So, but let this be an encouragement. If you're thinking about booking an all-inclusive, there's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not that they're all great or they're all bad. It's totally dependent on you. So I think that's a recap. And control is a big thing. How much control and customization do you want to have? If you don't want to think about a lot, decision fatigue, all those things are real for couples. Maybe all-inclusive is great for you. So good luck with your planning. We do have venue tours on this page that you guys can check out different venues. I don't think we do have an all-inclusive venue featured on the page, but maybe one day. But guys, thank you all so much. And thank you to Megan. Happy birthday.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Every love story deserves the perfect setting. And if you're getting married in Central Alabama, your dream venue might be closer than you think. We've toured and filmed 10 of the most breathtaking and unique wedding venues in the region. And they're all waiting for you on the Wedding Venues official YouTube channel. The search for your dream wedding venue just got a whole lot easier. On the Wedding Venues official YouTube page, you can now explore 10 of the best wedding venues across Central Alabama, from romantic countryside estates to modern spaces full of charm and character. Each video gives you an up-close look at what makes these venues truly unforgettable, so you can see the details, feel the atmosphere, and imagine your perfect day coming to life. The venues span from the heart of Birmingham, Anniston, Munford, Rainbow City, Ohatchee, Albertville, and even up near the Coleman and Vinemont areas. We're so thrilled to see how this channel is helping couples like you find the place where forever begins. This is only the beginning. We are expanding to cover the whole state of Alabama. If you have any amazing venue recommendation that needs to be on our page, please comment and let us know. Visit the Wedding Venues official YouTube page today and start discovering the venue that feels like home for your wedding day.